type of person when it comes to rapping and all of that type of stuff. But if it's something that affected me, if it's political or whatever the case is, or if it affects my community or where I came from, then I can speak on it. But that's really kind of like what I do, though. I just kind of go off of like my life situations or situations that I done been through with my friends that done came to vent to me and told me about something, or family that I know that done been through this situation. I ex- I express myself on that because I know, like, just because I went through this, I'm not the only person that done went through this. Like, there's millions of other people that done went through this, or probably even went through even worse than what I'm talking about. Like, so I just kind of just basically go off of what I know, far as me growing up into my life experiences. That's kind of really what I talk about mainly. Like, I do the clubby shit and all of that type of shit because I know that too. You got to have that type of music. But far as if you really listen to me and tune into my projects and listen to me, I really be having something to say for real. Like, kind of like it ain't a lot of people that's like that with me. So I kind of look at it like it's conscious at the same time, but I dumb it down enough to the point where people don't just look at me as a J. Cole and then they put me in that box right there and be like, "Oh, okay, I only listen to him when I want to hear some conscious type shit." I still make it street sound. I still make it all of that so that people, the streets can relate, they can relate to it and they can resonate to it. But I still make sure that OG that's 40 plus can listen to my song and be like, "Oh, I like this little nigga right here. He talking about something for real. Like, he's somebody that I would tell my kids to go listen to because he actually got a brain on him." Like, and so it's just like, I don't know. I was raised up by a lot of OGs too. Like, I was like a young kid that was around a whole bunch of people that was 20 years older than me. And when I was only 15, 16, they probably was like 30, going close to 40. So like, I'm kind of more like an old soul anyway.
I want to say thank you so much. I wanted to play a clip from one of your songs. I'm trying to pull you up right now on Spotify. Um, I definitely wanted to play a clip from one of your songs. I'm gonna get you before we get out of here. So people can hear your songs, so they can hear a taste of your music. I got a chance to meet you officially during the 100 ENT rap battle last weekend. So it has been my pleasure. But I definitely will spin the block on you after Miss Mother and a few other people ask you some more questions, Mr. 1K. Thank you so
Okay, yeah,
much. You ready,
for
Miss
sure.
Mother?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, 1K. It's me again, mother. I like that you mentioned um being relatable, and then you also said something within the lines that you dumb down your music to be relatable, right? Now,
Yeah.
not I'm not gonna make this about me, but it's crazy because I kind of had a conversation not too long ago with someone about that, about my music, because I do music too, and like you said, you do conscious music, so my music is conscious music as well, some revolutionary type shit, right? And I had someone tell me that I had to dumb my music down because nobody was gonna listen to what I was doing, right? And I was like, you know what? I'll give you that. But I like that you said that. I like that you mentioned that and said that you did it to be relatable, to resonate. And I'm gonna keep that there, but I'm gonna ask you the next question. So, how would you describe your unique musical style?
Describe. I want to say. I would say lyrically, like lyrically inclined is like one description of it. I would say like a melodic, let me see how I want to put that. Lyrically inclined for one, and then I want to say like melodic. I would say like I will put myself as like a melodic type of goat because I've been doing it so long and knowing how to like make certain stuff sound as like certain ways. So it's like I don't necessarily need no auto tune or nothing like that. I've been working with vocal coaches and different stuff like for a long time now, where it's like I can actually give off some music where I can sing and give off melodies without actually having no auto tune attached to my voice at all. So like I would say like melodically goaded, lyrically inclined, because I'm still always, like I said, Wayne was my favorite rapper, so I always still want to make sure I'm giving off some bars every time I rap and get on the song. You're gonna hear something and be like, "You, what the hell? Hold on, let me play that back." Like, you're gonna always do that every time. Like, and then just full fledged relatable. Like I'm just like everything that I be saying in some type of way is gonna resonate and relate to people. Like people gonna be able to relate to it. So I say I'm like a gravitational, like a magnet. I would say like a vocal magnet. Like it's like once you hear it and it go in your ears type shit, you ain't gonna be able to get it out.
So sorry about that. So would you say that your melodic choice? Would you say that that's your signature move? Oh
Yeah,
man. Oh, okay. Oh, I
yeah,
thought you
yeah,
was on the
yeah.
call.
I would say it was because that's what I go to. Like that's a go to for me. Like is the melodic like music and singing the melodies and all of that. Like, but that's like I said, I got developed that to me. Like that wasn't what I started off on. At first, I was just like a straight lyric. Like I would like consider myself like a hip hop head. Like I used to just always want to just give off bars and rap on beats that that gives off like hip hop type beats and different stuff like that. Like I told y'all, Wayne was my boy. Like so, that was what I was trying to like give out to the world at first. But moving to Georgia and getting around different artists of they kind and listening to the music, listening to the Outcasts and the Goody Mobs and the other different people that comes from that way, like showed me that okay, there's a whole different style of music that I can do. So once I got locked in on it, I honestly felt like I reach to the highest level of it or where it can get to. So it's like on any song I can get on there and harmonize and be melodic and make it sound like something. Even if it's the worst of the worst beat, I can still lyrically or like vocally get on there and make it sound like something just because I've been doing it for so long.
I love that. I love that for you. All right, one more question, and then I'm gonna pass it back to the floor. Um, where do you find inspiration for your lyrics and beats?
Inspiration. I find inspiration through life experiences, like shit that I go on like in my life or like I was saying, like family or loved ones that's close to me. Like that's where I find like that inspiration to continue to keep going and like continue to keep pushing out music. Like and then far as like beats or production wise, I wouldn't even say that I have like a go-to area when it comes to productions. I'm kind of more like I said, I'm so versatile that anything that I pull up in my email, if it sound like something, if it make me move a little bit, or if it make me nod my head a lot, like to me, it takes like that first 10 to 15 seconds of listening to a song. If I'm listening to it and it instantly make me start like rapping some lyrics or like mumbling or trying to come up with something, I know for a fact this is one of them songs I need to go ahead and pull up, tell the put like engineer, yeah, pull this one up right here, like or so that's usually what it takes. Is like that first 10 to 15 seconds coming from a production, from a producer, that if it gravitates to me and it touches like, my soul, my heart, like if it touched me in some type of way, then I'd be like, okay, that's what it is. So it could either be something that sound like some pop type of music. It could be something that sound Afro beat, reggae. It could be something that's hip hop, or it could be something that's like, whatever it is. If it just touches me when I first hear it with the first 10 to 15 seconds, then it is what it is. Like, and then of course, I don't like smoke or nothing like that no more. But like a lot of times the smoking used to be like another heavy influencer thing. Like, I get high and get zooted whatever when it comes to the weed, and just whatever goddamn happens type shit. Like so a lot of times like what most of my older music, far as I can say, I ain't been smoking in like 3 4 years now. So anything that was like before 2020, all of that shit I used to be like heavily smoking and heavily doing like lean and like Percocets and all of that shit. Like, of course, like, I told you I come up from Pluto, like from Future. So this is all of the type of shit that we like they was involved in, and we was right there as kids, doing the same thing they was doing type shit. Like, so a lot of the music that was beforehand, like I said, before 2020 was a whole bunch of like drug music, like, or I was kind of like, that's what I was going off of. That was my main like influence of what I was starting off of before I would even hear a beat. I had to get high first. I had to drink me some lean first, or I had to pop a pill or something like that first. But as like after that, once I like detoxed myself from all of that and told myself like, man, I need to be able to make music and not be high. Like I need to be sober and come up with music. I feel like that's when my best music came out because I feel like that shit really came from my heart. It really came from like the brain for real. Like it wasn't like I was just getting on there and just saying whatever came to my head. Like it was more of like I thought about it. So that's when I started doing like the punching in heavy more and more like that. And I started really thinking about my next bar before I like said something, or I might be able to go listen to it back and be like, you know what, take this out. Let me go redo this. Let me do that bar over again. Like before then, it was just like whatever I said, we keeping it as that. Even if the engineer was like, I don't know, nah, we keeping it as like I said, and we're gonna do it like this. Like so. Yeah, that influence wise, like definitely the drugs and all of that shit definitely was like a heavy influence at first. But once I got sober, it was just like life experience, like the shit that I was going through in life is what made me influence to make music or continue to keep making music.
Wow. You know what, Mr. 1K? I'm going to tell you this right now. I truly, truly love your rawness, your realness, and your authenticity. Like, you are amazing. Continue shining, continue being great at what you do. I'm going to pass the mic onto the floor to the next
Yeah, I
person
got
on
a
the floor.
question. Yeah, this is Josiah. I want to know how did you get the name 1K, or did somebody give you that name 1K? Is it symbolic? Did you have
Yeah,
another name before 1K?
it's definitely symbolic and I didn't really have no name at first. I was calling myself just my name. Like, you know, that's what I was going off of at first when I first started
Right,
rapping.
right.
My real name is Dante, like so I was just going off of that. Like, but the 1K actually came from my mom because she like always had like the little quote she used to always just say behind everything when she was telling us stories, or you know, she was lecturing us about something. She would always just say, make sure that you stay authentic and stay like 100, like always keep it 100 with people, regardless of if it hurt their feelings or not. They gonna know at the end of the day they could trust your word or they could trust your judgment. Like they gonna know that it's 100. Like so, she used to always say, "Keep it 100." So as I started getting older, I just basically took what she said and just added another zero behind it and started saying, "Keep it 1,000." So this was
Right.
something that I was doing before, like before everybody in the world started just this 1,000 thing now. Because you know, I know y'all could think back in the day, everybody was just saying, "Keep it 100, keep it 100." So I that was me. I thought of that like 10 years prior before and was like, okay, keep it 1,000. And I started saying that so much that eventually people started just calling me that. Like one day somebody just called me that, like 1K, like, and like I'm like, where you get that from? And they were like, cause your ass always talking about keep it 1,000 or keep it a thou wow. Like, so nigga, that should be your name. Like, and I was just like, you know what? So I went and asked my mom, like, hey mom, what you think about my rap name being 1K? And she was like, what you mean by that? I'm like 1,000. Like, you know how you say the 100, like, but just a zero behind it. And she was like, that's dope. That's unique. I ain't never heard of that before. Like, so it was like 1K Dante. That was originally like what my rap name was. And then once I started getting, once I started getting into like the music and taking it serious and and I got around Future them, like Future them was telling me like, hey, I don't know about the Dante part. Like, you know what I'm saying? The 1K part sounds like authentic and it sounds like that's you, but the Dante kind of like, you know, you giving them folks your real name, like you feel me, you might not want to do that, like, so I was just like, okay, and I took the Dante off and just kept 1K, and then for a long time it was just the number and then one and then K, and then as I started getting more serious with the music and actually started dropping projects, I was like, I went and searched up that name and went on YouTube and searched up that name. I started seeing a whole bunch of different people later on with
Yeah.
just one and K on their shit. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, now I got to do something different. And that's what made me spell it out. So it's ONE space KAY, but it still means 1K though, like 1,000.
Hi, hi, hi.
Wow, I love that. One thing that stood out for me when you answered this question is that you have a lot of love and respect for your mom. It sounds like she was a huge influence in your life. How, for example, like there's a lot of people going through the industry who don't have support. And how was your mom? How was her support? The force and the drive, because it sounds like that was something that she did was support your goal.
Yeah. Okay. Like, so at first, like I was telling y'all, she didn't at first because she wanted me to play like basketball. So like that was their goal, was to make me go to the NBA. Like it was like, okay, like you tall as hell, you actually talented, you got college people looking at you, you know, you only in 10th grade. So it was like they was really kind of pressing that. But the more I started getting into trouble in the streets and all of that type of stuff, they started noticing like, okay, well, he not really serious about basketball, because if he was, he wouldn't be putting himself in these type of situations in the first place. Like, so she just came to me and was just like, you're gonna have to do something, because you know you got felonies, so you're gonna have to go get a job, or you're gonna have to do something. Like, what you gonna do? Like, and I told her like, I want to do music, like, you know, and she was like, for real? And like I said, she told me to like rap in front of her right then and there. She's like, well, rap right now, like. And I rapped for her, and she was like, okay, like, you know, you kind of got something, like, you know. So she, like I told you, they told me like if I stayed out of trouble that whole summer of my 10th grade year going into 11th grade, that they'll buy me a computer and the speakers and a microphone.